but just give you an indication of how I see the nature of philosophy and how, in some small sense of why it's important. So to begin, I'm going to start with a story by my favorite philosopher, whose name is Ayn Rand, which some of you may have heard of. So imagine you're an astronaut lost in space. Your ship develops a problem, you crash into an unknown planet. After you regain consciousness, you look around you, you look outside, you see that you're in a different world. The vegetation is different, the sky looks a little paler. You start wondering, where are you? Where am I? And you're struck by a sudden feeling. You think, well, if I don't try to understand where I am, well, maybe I won't have to learn that I'm lost and irretrievably lost. So it kind of gives you a good feeling. You can believe what you feel, and you don't have to worry about it. Then you look over at your instruments and you go, and you're struck by another feeling. You say, well, what if my instruments aren't reliable? What if they won't tell me what I need to know? And you think, well, if I find out, then I won't know, then I'll probably learn that it's hopeless. So you turn away from your instruments. So then you say, well, what should I do? But then you don't have any desire to do anything because you failed to answer the questions of where you are and what should I do. Then off in the distance, you see some beings approaching you. And they walk on two legs, so they seem human, and you think, aha, I'll ask them. They'll tell me what to do. And you are never heard from again. So that's the story. So philosophy answers three questions. Where am I? How do I know it? And what should I do? And those questions are related to the three branches of philosophy. The first branch of philosophy, where am I, answers questions such as, am I in a universe ruled by natural law, which is therefore stable and knowable? Or am I in some incomprehensible flux ruled by inexplicable miracles which I can never understand? Are the objects in front of me independent of my consciousness, or are they the creation of my consciousness? Okay, those are a few of the questions of the first branch of philosophy, which is metaphysics, which answers, now don't look so serious, this is a funny subject now. This is the first branch of philosophy called metaphysics, which teaches what is the nature of the universe, the underlying, the thing that is true about everything in reality. What is the underlying nature of the universe? That's the question of where am I? So an adjunct question to that is the question of how do I know it? And that answers questions such as, is reason able to know and understand the universe, or is the universe ruled by inexplicable forces which I cannot understand? Is reason the faculty that identifies and integrates the material of the senses, or is it the subject of innate ideas implanted in me before birth? So you have, those are the two, and that's the branch of philosophy called epistemology, which studies the means of knowledge. So you have the two theoretical branches of philosophy: metaphysics, the nature of the universe, or the fundamental nature of the universe, and epistemology, your means of knowledge, of knowing knowledge. Based on those two branches, of the answers you pick to those two branches is the third branch of philosophy called ethics. And ethics is the answer to the questions of what should I do? Now, depending on the first two answers, you'll have a certain view of yourself and of the universe. Depending on the answers of metaphysics and epistemology, you will say, well, do I live in a universe that I can understand and that's knowable, or am I just a chip buffeted by the flux of by the universal flux, and I'm just a helpless being? Those kinds of deep questions will determine what your ethics are. And ethics is a code of values to guide your choices and actions. The choices and actions that determine your future. So ethics answers questions such as should I look to achieve my own happiness, or should I or is this a world of suffering where I am unable to achieve my happiness? So I hope I've given you some indication of philosophy and its importance, just a tiny sliver of the issue of philosophy and how it can be important to you. And I thank you very much for your time.